Okay, next up. Corey L. writes, so I was under the impression that Sony made a huge deal with Netflix to stream exclusively. So reports are coming in that Spider-Man and Spider-Man adjacent films will be on Disney Plus and Hulu. How can those two deals exist at the same time? Thanks. All right. I was thinking about making this a main topic, Rob, but it happened. The announcement came like 4 or 5 days ago.
Right.
Of course, we didn't, because of different reasons, we didn't have a John Campea show on Thursday or Friday. And so I just thought it was timed out. So here's the basic gist of it. All right. So, of course, earlier last week, we talked about this huge deal that Sony had just made with Netflix. That Sony movies were, number one, they were going to make a bunch of original movies just for Netflix. But beyond that, Sony's theatrical movies would then, once their theatrical runs were done, would go on to Netflix. And they signed this big, huge, very lucrative and expensive deal for those films to go to Netflix. But if you'll remember properly, one of the things we talked about on the show was the fact that it was a limited time deal. It would be, if I'm not mistaken, Rob, 18 months. It would be an 18-month window that it would get to have. So for a little over a year after it was done its full theatrical run, for quite a bit over a year, after it was done its full theatrical run, the first place that all those Sony movies are going to go is Netflix. For over a year, that's where they're going to be. But we did say during that it is a limited time window. It's just the main thing. Because, Rob, when people are going to go look for these new movies that are coming out, they're going to go look for them in the first few months that they come out. So the prime choice win was Netflix. They got first dibs, and they were going to have those movies for that. Now, shortly after that, a deal with Disney got announced where after that 18-month window, that Netflix was going to get to have all that Sony content. The next place they would go is then on to Disney Plus or Hulu, depending on wherever Disney decides the content needs to go. But you got to understand, they're going to have to sit and wait until Netflix gets to have them first and have them for a period of time. Then Disney gets to have it. And by the way, Rob, Disney's deal is not indefinite either. They didn't talk about how limited that window, but my guess is if they go by industry standards, it's going to be a 3-year window. It's probably going to be a 3-year window. So Netflix gets the best of it. They get the first year plus, and then Disney gets to have it for what I'm guessing is going to be a 3-year term, which then can be re-upped or given to somebody else, or maybe after 4 years, Sony has their own streaming service. Who knows? Rob, to me, the interesting thing here is this. Because Disney getting Netflix's sloppy seconds, it's a big story, but it's actually not as big to me as Netflix getting that first key prime deal for the first choice cut. But the interesting thing to me is this. Unless I'm missing something, and I could be, this will be the first round of content that Disney licenses to Disney Plus. Because everything else that's been on Disney Plus till now has been Disney original content. They haven't gotten into the licensing game. Now, movies like Jumanji are going to end up, or in whatever the subtitles of the Jumanji movies up, they're going to end up on Disney Plus, at least for a period of time. And I can't recall, it may have happened and I'm just not remembering it, but I'm just saying, I can't recall Disney making big moves to license other studios' content. So that's interesting. Rob, you heard about this whole deal. First of all, the winner is Sony. Let's make no mistake about it. Sony is going to be backing up trucks of cash from Netflix and Disney, and the winner in this is Sony. But this is an interesting deal, but it's also very interesting from a Disney Plus point of view. Rob, you heard about the deal with Netflix, with Disney. What's your overall impressions of this whole situation?
Well, first of all, I think it's really smart on Sony's side because they don't have a streaming service. I don't think, they're more interested ultimately with games. They're dealing with PlayStation and all the PlayStation gaming and all that. I think starting a streaming service is something they don't want to do. And I think this is a win-win for them. Netflix is a good place to be. And then, of course, at Disney Plus, they already have a partnership beginning with the Spider-Man movies. And I think that Disney Plus and Netflix is giving them the best of both worlds. Disney wins because they get to put this content. They can finally have all the Spider-Man movies, which are now, assuming what's happening with Spider-Man No Way Home makes all of the Sony Spider-Verse movies, Spoomco, whatever the hell they're calling it, as part of the larger continuity. You know, you can now say that the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are in continuity with the MCU, albeit through the quantum realm or whatever, however they're going to do that, the multiverse. And that's only a good thing. And I think it's a great decision on Sony's part, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it's a good win for everybody. And again, Netflix, they scored pretty good here because, yeah, Disney's going to get those Spider-Man movies, but not until Netflix has had them for over a year first. So it's an interesting deal, but you're right, Rob. They found a way. All three companies, Disney, Sony, Netflix, have found a way to navigate this where everybody gets something. Everybody gets something good out of it. So I think you're absolutely right when you call it. It's a win-win-win. It really is good for everybody.